Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBNradio.com.
And welcome to Limit Free Life. We are here at the Limit Free Life show with a fabulous guest today. I'm so excited about having Ruth Klein, brand specialist and influencer on the show, and she is going to really enlighten us with some wonderful wisdom of hers. I'm going to give a full introduction to Ruth in just a minute. And for now, I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the show and listening today. And we are coming to you from the beautiful Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California. This is UBNradio.com. It's the Limit Free Life show. You can also find us streaming on Facebook, on my Facebook page, Limit Free Life. So we are here to help you create work you love, work that is fulfilling, fun, and financially prosperous. And to that end, we have people on our show who can help us to live a limit-free life and to transition our careers, to build our businesses, and to create a really fabulous relationship with money that will help you make fabulous decisions in your business and in your life. So I am Michelle Perkins, I'm your host, and I want to introduce you to my guest who is just a delight. Her name is Ruth Klein. Ruth is an internationally known brand strategist, best-selling author of 6 books. She's a speaker and expert celebrity branding coach for leaders, CEOs, and entrepreneurs. She's appeared in the Oprah Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, all the major networks, CBS, ABC, NBC, CNBC, Fox, and dozens of media outlets. Ruth works with experts, conscious leaders, and C-suite executives to help them become highly visible as thought leaders in their industry. She helps them create lucrative businesses and powerful personal brands by honing their message and communicating it through writing books, signature speeches, and purpose-driven brands. Ruth's clients add multi 6 and 7 figures to their business or company, host PBS specials, they're high 5-figure international speakers, they receive over 100 media pickups with one press release, become best-selling authors, and have even become a $100 million business brand. Ruth has raised funds or volunteered for nonprofits since the 3rd grade. She's good at it. She holds a master's degree in clinical psychology and spiritual psychology and has penned 6 books, many of which are best-selling, notably Time Management Secrets for Working Women, The De-Stress Diva's Guide to Life, Manage Your Time, Market Your Business, and The Everything Guide to Being a Sales Rep. Ruth has been a television and print spokesperson for AT&T, AOL Online, Food Saver, 3M, and many other top business brands. Her audiences call her witty, her clients call her wise, her friends call her wonderful, and her children call her for money. Please help me welcome the fabulous Ruth Klein. Ruth, hello. I'm so happy you're here. Ruth is zooming in from her beautiful home today, home office, and we are so happy to have you here, Ruth. It is a pleasure and an honor that you are here with us.
Well, I'm happy to be here as well, Michelle. This is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. We have a lot to talk about. So I would love to get started. Just you and I, we do know each other. You're one of those wonderful examples of how networking can lead to a wonderful relationship and even a friendship. And so I am really excited to have you share some of your wisdom with people around branding and being an influencer. And I would love for you to start from the beginning and tell everyone a little about your story and where you started and what you're doing today and how you got there. Kind of a tall order.
Wow.
I know, it's a big one. Sorry.
Well, I will tell you that I've always been interested in psychology. I've always been interested in how people do the things they do, why they do them, what's their motivation. And I never realized that I was so analytical, and I am. I remember I had a mentor, and he said, Ruth, you're so analytical. I said, no, I'm not, because I thought of myself as so creative, which I am. I didn't see the analytical piece. And in psychology, I can see how that's worked very, very well,
Mm-hmm.
because I'd like to analyze why people do what they do and always go back to the source.
Right.
And that has been very, I'm going to say, in alignment with who I am.
Mm.
Always go back to the source, even with health. If there are any health issues, or when I had children and they got sick, I like to go back to the source. How did it happen?
Right.
And so because I figure if you know how it happened, maybe it's either a control issue, or it's something that you can look at and make some different different choices, for
Mm.
example. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
all about making different choices and being authentic.
Right.
And so I grew up in a small town, and one of the things that my parents always said was that I walked in my sleep and I talked in my sleep. And I will tell you, it hasn't changed much since then. I find that I think one of the reasons that I've penned so many books, and I'm working on my seventh,
Mm.
is because I have so much to share that
Mm.
I can't talk to everybody. I can't talk 24/7, I guess. So I want to pen these books, and my hope is that they do make a difference in people's lives. And in terms of what I do today, Michelle, the essence of what I do and why I do it, my big why, is really that there are so many people that leave this earth
Mm.
with their song still in them,
Mm-hmm.
and their story still in them, and their
Right.
message. And with my heritage, and with so much that goes around worldwide, we have to share our story, and all of our stories have a message. At least we want to get it across, and I think we can help so many people when we can share our story, and
Mm-hmm.
people know they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is why I do what I do. So, and I found that I kind of fell into, believe it or not, what I'm doing. I literally fell into it. I really wanted, when I graduated college and I went to graduate school, all I wanted to do was be a college counselor. That's all I
Mm.
wanted to do.
Interesting. Okay.
And I went to the college, and they were packed, and I needed a job. I was newly married, and I was still in grad school. I had a lot of debt to pay off. And one of the people at the college counseling station said, "Why don't you go visit with the chairman of the psychology department?" And I thought, I don't want to teach, but I needed a job. So I went to the psychology department, spoke with the chairman, and we chatted for 2 hours.
Mm.
It was a great conversation, and yet I walked away thinking, oh man, he's going to call me and ask me to teach, and I don't teach. Well, needless to say, that's all I do. I teach, and I train, and I consult, and I coach.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's so interesting. So many times what we think we don't want to do, or we're not equipped to do, is the very thing that leads us down the path
Yeah.
to our purpose. It's amazing
It
how that.
is. It's kind of uncanny. It is an
It's
interesting thing.
uncanny.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's
I see that as well.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
s-
So ended up teaching two classes instead of one, and I remember thinking, oh man, not just one but two. And because I wanted to be so thorough, but even more importantly, underneath that, I didn't have the self-confidence, because I was just as young as the students. I've
mm-hmm.
always had a high-pitched voice. And so I wore a bun. I don't even know how to put a bun on, but I wore a bun, and I put my glasses on, and that's how I taught. Hmm.
I love
And
that.
then at the end of the first semester, um, I had two A students, and I was considered a tough prof.
Mm.
And the reason I was considered a tough prof is because I asked them to read the book, and be present on it. Oh yeah, and I kept them for all 3 hours. It was a 3-hour class
Mm.
twice a week, and I kept them for the entire time because I'm into teaching, and I
Right.
love education, and I wanted them to learn.
Right.
And so one of the two A students when he dropped off his final, he looks at me and he said, Miss Klein, someday you're going to make a great prof. I was crushed, absolutely crushed. And the second A student loved what I shared, and he introduced me to his human resources guy at a very large corporation, and had an interview, and right then and there started training their managers and working with their CEOs on performance. Oh gosh, what were they called? Performance
Evaluations.
Performances, yeah.
Yeah.
Mindset, communication. If he asked, "Do you teach this? Can you train in this?" I go, "Uh-huh." And of course, never had.
Right.
But as we know, when you first start out, and even when you're seasoned, you need to say yes more than you say no.
Right.
You need to say yes more than you say no. And I'll share with you, one year my main intention was to say yes more than no for the whole year. And that was one of my most purpose-driven and successful, happy years.
Interesting. Yeah, that's fabulous. That is a good tip, to say yes more than you say no. The no kind of can come pretty easily for people, just almost automatically. So if you can catch yourself and say yes instead before you allow yourself to go down that road of fear and doubt, that's a really good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. So how did you get from human resources to what you're doing now?
So then I really had fun with this training thing. And then before I knew it, I would get referrals out, and I started going from training to consulting.
Okay.
And then doing both. And it just, and in between having kids, raising kids, I did the consulting, and I did, and it's interesting because looking back, it was consulting and coaching. Because I've always brought my mindset and my psychology into play.
Right.
Always. You can't separate it.
Right.
I can't separate my brain from my body. And so that's how it started. And then that ended up starting to be my career. And then from there, I wrote a book, and I didn't even have a computer at the time. And I had a lovely friend that I met through networking as well. I had a lovely friend, and she was a seasoned writer. She used to be a waitress, and then she had a framing shop. And when she had a framing shop, she taught herself to write. And she ended up getting a 3-book deal for 6 figures.
Wow.
Many, many years ago, over 20 years ago. And she was kind enough to allow me to use her computer in her home.
Nice. Yeah. It's all about the support and the help, right? As we were coming along. Yeah.
It truly is. And that's something that is so important, I've found over the years. And with a lot of my clients, especially newbies, they'll say, "But Ruth, I can't afford to have a support team." Well, my response always is, you can't afford not to.
Absolutely.
And there are ways to do that. You don't have to have a full-time person. You can have someone come in. You can have a student come in for 5 hours a week.
Right.
You can, you can get a bookkeeper to help with your books. I'm good with money, but I don't have the patience to work with books and all of that. And, there was a time that it would take me a whole weekend just to write checks out. There were so many, because I have so many accounts for so many different things. And I thought, I don't want to do this.
Right.
This is fun. It drains my energy. I need to hire someone. So I went on Craigslist. Oh, no. I usually go on Craigslist. I went to a headhunter of some sort, or an executive company. And the third gal was the charm, and she's been with me now for 18 years.
Wow, that's amazing. I know we live in a world now where there are just so many possibilities for getting the help. I mean, whether it's YouTube, or it's Upworks, or the local staffing agencies, or Craigslist, or, I mean, there kind of isn't really a good excuse to not have, even if you want 5 hours a month of help. I mean, you can get it in any area. So that's,
well, it is, and again, it's a mindset, right? And so what helps me and what always helped me, and I pass this on to my clients and I have a whole thing around it, is it a cost or
Yeah.
is it an investment?
Right, right.
And an investment is long term. An investment in your business, I'll spend money for coaching
Right,
because I'm investing in myself,
right.
and I have chosen a certain person to help me through that because I'm in alignment with that person. I like what they're doing. I like their style. I like their heart.
Right,
Very important to me. And I'll invest with them because I'm investing really in myself.
right, right.
Investing in the person, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You do money, and they're investing in themselves for you to help them clean up their act. Because if you don't have your finances, if you don't focus on your finances, then something's going to explode or
Right,
implode.
right,
And money loves attention.
right.
You don't pay attention to money, it will go awry. And so
Absolutely.
having an assistant of some sort, or having, I have an IT person on retainer. It's a low amount. It's a
Right.
low amount. I've worked with him now for 14 years. And he can get into my computer at any moment. He can connect with me with the printer if it goes down, because part of my brand is I can't afford to be down because I have to always be in
Right,
contact with clients if necessary. And so there
right.
are systems and structures that I've put into place that I have to have this team, because there's no way I could do a third of what I do without
Right.
my team. Not even close.
Right. And when you think about the cost of not having, people to help you stay directed, people to hold you accountable, people to keep you moving in the right direction more quickly, or people to help you with the various things that maybe, are not in your zone of genius and somebody else really should be doing them. The cost of that is huge. So even though it feels like a cost to be paying people, it's really not. I mean, when you, just like you say, it's an investment, because otherwise
Well,
it's going to be costing you.
yes, and here's the way to do it. Here's the way that I do it, even to this day. So I will make a list as to how much time it takes me if I were to do this. How much time and how much energy. And if
Okay.
it's something
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like, it takes a lot of energy.
Right.
But if
Right.
it's something I like to do, then it refreshes me, it inspires me, it motivates me. So that's really a good way. And you can figure out what you are per hour, and then you figure out, well, is it worth to get someone for X dollars, or is it better for you to do it? And chances are, if you don't enjoy doing it, I can tell you right now, it's a better investment to get someone to help you to do it.
Absolutely.
You're going to
Right.
drag your feet. And so, yeah, and I love this. I love this up here. Time, energy, and attention equals productivity. That is, yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Right.
And that's exactly what it takes. It takes the time, the energy. Um, yeah, it takes all of that, and the attention.
Right. I always think, time, money, and energy, they're the same. They're the same currency. They might look a little different, but,
Yeah.
they all tell kind of the same story and lead you to the same types of decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the deal. Most people that aren't as productive as they want, many times they'll think of themselves as a procrastinator, or
Yeah.
others will perceive them as a procrastinator. That is dangerous.
Right.
That is dangerous, because I don't even know what procrastination means, but I will tell you the source of it. The source of procrastination is a couple of things. Number one, you don't know what to do. You're
Yeah.
overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. Don't. You don't want to look dumb,
Right.
so you're putting it off. So it's not because you're lazy.
Right.
And so many times we combine procrastination with laziness, and all that negative self-talk and critical talk will do is motivate you. And when you or someone else is demotivated, productivity goes out the window. You find yourself forcing yourself to do something, and that's not a sweet spot. What I wanted to share also, Michelle, when we were talking about getting help and assistance and things like that, even part time.
Right.
I also find that what I call our authentic self, our source, our higher self, whatever you want to call it, is also a wonderful assistant. And so in so doing, once I started creating a morning ritual, I love my mornings. And my mornings start with a delicious cup of coffee that I make with a great creamer. I make the best coffee.
Yes, you do. I've had it, actually.
And you've had it. Sometimes I think my clients just come over for the coffee. And the ones that are online, what can I say? They have to
They're
come
missing
to
out.
a event. But it starts with my delicious coffee, and I'm just so relaxed. I make sure that I'm in a really good emotional space, and before I know it, I have a notebook and a pen, and stuff just comes, and I just write it down.
Yeah.
I just this morning, an idea came, which is $100,000 idea. Just because I had that morning calming ritual.
Yes.
And as I was writing it, this is honest to goodness what I was saying. This is excellent. This is brilliant. This is great. And I knew that it wasn't me. It was a higher source being downloaded. And so how long would that have taken me?
Yeah.
It's that morning ritual. If we could continue to have that morning ritual, create it whatever way you want, listen to a beautiful tape, listen to a motivational speaker, meditate, whatever it takes.
Right.
But I read most recently that the most successful people take a few hours every morning to get their mindset and their energy in place. And I thought, wow, because at one point, I was feeling guilty that I was spending so much time with my ritual.
Yes, and that is such a work in progress. At least for me, it's constantly being, I'm good at it, and then I get too busy or something, and it slips, and then I always know that I have to go back to it because it just changes the course of the day. And
it really does.
Yeah.
It really does. And here it is. I have to remember it's an investment.
Yes.
It's an investment in time and in energy and money, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because they go together, as you said so profoundly. They're the same thing. They're the same currency. It's the triplicate effect. It's the trifecta.
Yeah, but you're always an inspiration to me with the morning routine and time management in general. I'm actually rereading your time management book, and I'm redoing my time tracking, which is just mortifying, to be honest. I'm going to force myself to stick with it for 2 weeks, like you say, but it is really uncomfortable to see what happens during your day. That said, so we're talking about various costs. What about the cost of not being visible? Because I know you are really an expert at helping people to be visible, and that requires a lot of things. That requires some mindset work, and that also requires some practical actions. So there's a huge cost to staying a best kept secret, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I had 2 or 3 clients years ago, independent of each other. They didn't know each other. They just knew me. That was the common factor. And they said, Ruth, you are you're just such a great, well-kept secret. And I thought, that's so awesome. That makes me feel so good. And then I realized it's not so good. And so I think the biggest cost, really and truly, and I know this may not make sense, but I'm hoping it does. The biggest cost in being a best kept secret is that you withhold the opportunity to help someone else solve a problem.
Yeah.
That's the first one.
Okay.
The second huge cost is not getting your message out in a big way. Not getting your message out in a big way. And when you don't get your message out, if you don't get your message out in a big way, I will tell you, your spirit will come back to haunt you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so many people want to write books, and for 5 years, 10, 20, I've had clients who've been wanting to write books for 30 years.
Oh.
And their spirit just won't let them relax. And so it's so important. Those are the two of the biggest things
Right.
that happens, because we're here. I don't care what your industry is. You're here basically, or maybe primarily, to to be the solution to someone's problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's someone who is the president of a corporation, or someone, school teacher,
Yeah.
someone who's a financial advisor, who helps children across the street. I don't care what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
fact is, we're here to solve a problem, someone's problem. And so in many ways, you're withholding your knowledge and your wisdom and your expertise and your message from helping others. Think about, I went to a fundraiser last night, and it was for a very rare childhood um, disease. And just think, if the parents, and these particular parents are starting a school for children with neurological um, issues.
Okay.
Just think if they didn't share their message.
Right.
And now think of what they're doing in solving someone else's problem. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be able to work with 12 students by the end of this year.
Wow.
That's huge.
That is huge. That's wonderful.
So
Well,
you see who we are and what we do, and our message impacts everyone. It's not about you. And I think this is an important piece. It's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's about your message and helping others. That's it. And when,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, when I really got that, it was after I gave a speech, and there were, I don't know, there were hundreds and hundreds of people there, women. It was a women's conference. And it seemed to me that all the women were leaving. Now, obviously they weren't, but I thought they were all leaving, and I thought I really stunk. So I didn't speak for years as a result at conferences. And then one day I got wise, and I realized that I took it so personally. I felt that they were judging me instead of me being there to get my message out. And if I helped one person, if I inspired one person, I was supposed to be there. And today, I don't care if there's 3 people in the audience or 3,000 in the audience, because I today know, didn't then, I wish I did, I know today that everyone that shows up are exactly the people that need to be there to hear what I have to say.
Right, right. Yeah, that's beautiful, and it brings up another point. I mean, today is such an interesting time because it is so possible to be visible.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it with the younger generations. I mean, they're just from the start. They're much more out there than we ever were. But that said, I think there could be a feeling too of, wow, how do I stand out? Because there's so many people, even though my service is great, there are a lot of people offering similar services. So as a branding expert, what would you say to that?
Yeah, and that's the name of the game, and that's the secret. Because just as everyone has different fingerprints, even twins have different fingerprints. Everyone has a different brand print, I like to say. And that brand print encompasses everything about you, all your experiences that you've had up until this moment in time, how you see the world, your expertise, it's all of who you are. And so there are no 2 people like you. So you said something profound. You said, other people are doing what you're doing. Yes, but no. So I can share this with books, as an author and helping people write books, and even helping them with their speeches. It doesn't matter that we have, I don't know, 100 books on finance, 1,000 books on finance, 5,000 books on finance.
Right.
And yet people are reading books on finance because of that brand print. because we're different. The way we see the world is different. Our experiences are different. But most people in business do not know their brand print. And that's the danger.
Okay.
So what happens is an entrepreneur will say, well, Ruth, what kind of marketing do I need to do? Who's my target market? And I look at them in astonishment because I don't know. I simply don't know. I don't know. And one of the reasons that it's so difficult for a lot of entrepreneurs and coaches and consultants and speeches and lawyers and financial advisors is because they don't know how they're different. They don't know their brand print. They don't know the outline. They don't know all the fissures of that beautiful brand print. And I often say that our brand print is this beautiful puzzle with all these beautiful pieces. And without every single piece, the good times, the bad times, the in-between times, everything that we have experienced, every book that we've read, every speech that we've given, every message that we've thought, every insight that's been downloaded is part of that puzzle piece, that puzzle picture. And so one of the reasons, the primary reason actually that I find entrepreneurs have such a difficult time putting together their website is because they don't know who they are and they don't know the value they bring to their clients. And in branding, that's what we find out. Now, branding is a confusing concept because most people think branding has to do with colors and logo. That's least.
Right.
Forget the colors, forget the logo, and do what I refer to essence branding. I do essence branding. Who are you at your heart level? Let's start here and then move out. Once we know that, then we know what colors to choose because every colors have a psychological piece to them. Then we know what the logo is. We have a feel for it at least. And then we go to a professional graphic artist. I've used my graphic artist, the same one, Michelle, for 25 years.
Wow, that's
25
great.
years. And sometimes I use them a lot, and sometimes I don't use them for 6 months.
Right.
And so that's how important it is when you know your brand, because one piece of that puzzle is your ideal client. So your marketing starts at your branding. It doesn't start in the air.
Right.
And that's where most people start.
To address the issue, this just came up with a client the other day, and she wants to I have 2 questions for you related to this. But so she has a new wonderful health product, health beauty, wants it out there quickly. So we were talking about this, and the chances are that not too far down the road, she'll change things up. She'll probably change the name. She'll probably change the logo. She'll probably change, some things about it. So, is that okay? Like, do you need it all put together really perfectly at the start? Or can you just jump out of the gate with something and figure it out later?
So, first of all, you need essence branding out the gate.
Okay.
That you need. But most people start with a website and they start with the logo and this is the issue, or the name even. Okay. So that is primary. However, that being said, our brand is a living entity, I believe. Okay. It breathes just as we do. And as we expand, it expands. As we tweak our deliverables and what we do, it tweaks. We could even change colors if we wanted to rebrand it some point, but we'd have to have a reason for it. We need to have a reason because our people need to have a reason.
Right.
Because we love familiarity. We love having things the same. There's a certain comfort level. So my clients know that, when they get me, they pretty much get me and they know what they're going to get.
Right.
So if I change drastically, I need to let them know that I'm doing something different, new. I'm launching something.
Okay.
So you can always relaunch. You can always tweak. So the second part to that answer is no. It definitely doesn't have to be perfect because it'll never be perfect. It's a living entity and it breathes just as we do. So it's very important.
Yes, and we talked about this a little before the show about business in general and how, if you look at your business or my business 5 years ago, it doesn't look the same. And for most successful businesses, that's what you see, and that's what you want to see, is that the business
Right.
no longer looks the same. So, would you like to comment on that? Because people, they do get comfortable not only with other people's brands and things, but they get comfortable with their own situation. And sometimes that
Yes.
can be a little scary to change it.
So here's the thing. You don't want to change drastically. I don't think if it's working, why break it? So if it's working well, but you'll always want to tweak it. You'll always expand it because you're expanding. You're learning more. So there are some very famous people that started out in acting, and now they have a clothing line.
Right.
Or a perfume line, or a makeup line. There are speakers that started out as speakers, and now what they do is they consult with large companies all over the world. So it's an expansion. It's an addition to. But if this is a good rule of thumb, Michelle. If you're doing the same thing with the same deliverables as today as you did 5 years ago, chances are you have lost major income in your business.
Right. Yeah.
Major income. Because at the end of the day, things have disrupted, and you have to be on top of the disruption. You have to know what the trends are. It's your responsibility to know what the trends are, not just in your arena, but in all the arenas. And so many businesses have seen the disruption in one industry, and then they've used some of that in their industry that's completely different. And so it's so important if you're serious about being an entrepreneur, if you're serious about being in business, you want to read the Wall Street Journal. You want to look at the Financial Times. You want to check things out. You want to read magazines. You want to keep your thumb on what the trends are. And if you don't have time to do that, then connect with someone that you feel can tell you what the trends are, that can tell you how to update your brand, how to update your deliverabilities, how to update your engagement. My goodness, with social media, even 2 years ago, we didn't have really Instagram the way we have it today. And 7 years ago, we didn't have a lot of other things. And these social media platforms are effective if you know how to use them, and if you know which platform goes with which marketing strategy, if you will.
Would you mind giving I know you're an expert in the social media area. Would you mind giving a few tips for what you're talking about right now?
Yeah, I sure will. So, if you're confused with social media, you're not the only person. So many people have all these things to say. There's so many people that are very, very successful, and most are not. So I'm going to give you just kind of a rule of thumb, and there, of course, there are specifics and different examples once in a while, but I'll give you a rule of thumb. LinkedIn is outstanding if you're in the corporate space, or if you want to consult with CEOs or corporations and train. That's excellent. It's actually a really good place also to look for assistants, quite honestly.
Right.
Although many of them are looking for full-time jobs. And most recently, I was looking for a professional. I was actually looking for a producer/director.
Okay.
And that could do professional video. And I went on Craigslist, and my assistant put up an ad, and I must have received 35 emails in 6 hours.
Wow. Okay.
And I hired someone, and I think we did that last weekend. I spoke to her the end of last week, and she came yesterday. We did 8 videos.
Wow.
And
nice.
she's going to cover my my 3-day live event in October. And so that's for LinkedIn. Okay. Twitter is outstanding for things that are disruptive, for launches, for things that you're doing differently. Twitter, believe it or not, is also outstanding for connecting with media. Almost all media today are on Twitter. In fact, Twitter is a phenomenal place to know what's going on with the news. And when we were having tsunamis in other parts of the world, the tweets were the first ones that let the world know what was happening. So
Interesting.
that's a
Yeah.
really excellent place to be on that. I also know many authors who have done a good job on Twitter as well, especially
Interesting.
during a book launch.
Okay. Great.
Instagram is my favorite.
Yeah.
Can't lie. There's my Instagram. That's my most recent post. I just love my Instagram. Um, and um, and the reason I love Instagram so much is because from where I sit, you have to know your brand. You have to know your brand because you only have a few words that you can use.
Right.
And you have, you need a link, and that link's in bio, and people look at that, and you want to have, and the engagement is high. The engagement is wonderfully high. I get so excited. I am now addicted to my Instagram phone, to my phone on Instagram. And so I have had to literally turn off my phone and put it away so I can't see, because I'm serious, because I want to see how many likes and comments. And then I love engaging with my followers, love it. And it's fun. It's a visual branding tool. And I'm going to be doing a lot of this. I'd mentioned my 3-day event. I'm spending one day on mostly Instagram, because I'm going to have brand influencers that are making tens of thousands of dollars on Instagram.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So it keeps you young too. You're sounding like my
Really
daughter.
does, and just it really keeps your pulse.
Yeah.
And the thing you always have to remember though is don't compare yourself. If you start comparing yourself, I have 6,000 followers. If I start comparing myself to someone who has 60,000 followers, then I'm not going to be a happy camper.
Right.
So I have to really, really focus. And one of the pieces in my morning ritual is for me to be the best me.
I love that.
Not to compare, but for me to be the best me and the best I have to offer. And then Facebook, some people love Facebook. People certainly have monetized Facebook. I just never got into Facebook. I don't know why. I
Right.
don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not interested in. I don't know why. I just don't. I have a nice Facebook presence, and I will start doing Facebook Live because I think that's fun. And it's a great way to engage.
Right.
But Instagram's my baby right now.
That's great, and I love that you have just chosen the platform you like the most. And you know, they're all valuable in some way. So it is okay to pick the one that you enjoy because you'll probably use it. And so
yes, and you'll learn more about it.
Exactly.
And you'll learn more about it. You'll be more engaged. I often tell my clients, choose 2, but don't do any more than 2, and be really engaged. Now, I'm on every single platform, but I have an assistant.
Yeah.
And so I can, I do brand strategies and I do marketing and PR. So I get the opportunity to do the strategy and they implement.
Right.
And so I have the latitude to be on all of them, but I'm not active on all of them. I'm more active on Instagram, and I will be more active on Facebook, just for Facebook Live.
Right.
Yeah.
Ruth, I know that you actually have to be somewhere else at 2 o'clock, and so I want to make sure that we talk about your live event because that is going to be amazing and really, really helpful for people, especially the people listening to this show. I think can all be benefited by knowing about this. So can you tell us what's going to be happening at your event in October?
Absolutely. I've done live events before, but I have to tell you, there's something about this live event that I am just incredibly, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to do it right now. And I think, Michelle, and I've done it for many, many years. The last time I did a 3-day event, though, was 3 years ago. I can't believe it.
Okay.
And I think the reason that I'm so ready to do it is because I finally tweaked exactly what it is that I want to share and my message, and it's up to date and it works and there are results and it's very heart-centered.
Mm.
And I'm excited. The first day we talk about mindset. So much of branding is mindset.
Right.
It's about owning your talents and your skills and brilliance. And I know that sounds so airy-fairy, but it's not. It's real. Because if you don't own your brilliance and your talents and your skills, you will not charge what you're worth, and you will not get it.
Right.
If you don't own that, who you are and your message and what you're doing, granted, I'll help you tweak it. I'll help you do all that stuff. But if you don't have the mindset around it, you're not going to get your message out, and you're not even going to know what your message is. And I'm going to help you with that. I have a whole team that will be there working with everyone for those 3 days. Every day I have a panel. That first day that we talk about branding and mindset, I have a panel. I have a literary agent for those of you who want to pitch to a literary agent. Actually, I'll have 2 of them. I'll have a producer who takes books to film. So that's cool. And then, because a book is certainly your brand if you write it as a legacy book. A legacy book is not a book that you write in 3 days. Sorry, doesn't happen. And it's all about your brand, all the things that we talked about, and it incorporates all of that into your brand. The second day we talk about social media, yay. And most of it is Instagram. I have a panel of a doctor who just markets on Instagram, and I'm her client.
Nice.
And that's found her on Instagram. My daughter is her client, and she has found so many, quite lucrative. There's going to be someone who makes tens of thousands of dollars on top of that on Instagram. There's going to be an Instagram, so there's going to be a social media person who can help you get started on all the platforms, and knows if you want to do Instagram ads or Facebook ads. He does all of that. He has a company. I met him years ago when he was first starting it. He was just a USC student, and now he does the social media for SC and for many other companies, including mine. He's going to start doing that. So you're going to hopefully see some fun ads for my 3-day event. And then the third day, we're going to be talking about how to get media, new media, offline and online, and we're going to tie it all together, how to monetize, how to make money on your expertise, how to make money on your messaging. I honestly, it doesn't have to be that difficult. It really, really, really doesn't. It's just that you need to have a system. You need to have someone who understands what you do, and you need to have someone who keeps you accountable, truly accountable, not gives you the steps and then says, go for it. But someone who says, Ruth, you need to start this now. Oh, okay.
Right.
And then the panel, we will have some media people there, so that you can pitch your ideas or your company to. We're going to have someone who used to do bookings for Growing America. And she also has a phenomenal business, and she promotes it on Instagram. She's going to share that with us.
Nice.
And she's going to show us, and literally, I'm going to walk everyone through how to write a press release today, the type of press release you need today. And I'm in this business, which is very different than it was even 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. I think I need to walk and talk in my sleep.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. It also sounds like the place to go for a big boost to your revenue.
Definitely. It's October 19th, 20 and 21 at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. This is plenty of time for you to get an air ticket. I have special rates for a room. So please let me know if you're interested, and we'll make this happen together.
That sounds fabulous. I do know it's a rather limited event, right, as far as attendees.
It is.
So
and here's the deal. I don't want to speak to 200 people.
Right.
I don't want to just get tushies in the seat. I want to be able to look everyone in the eye. I want to be able to do laser coaching for everyone. I want to make sure that when people walk out of there, they have exactly what they need, plus, plus, plus. It exceeds their expectation. And so, in so doing, I have to keep it to a smaller number, and I'm happy to do that.
Okay. Well, Ruth, thank you so much. It sounds fantastic, and it was such a pleasure having you on the show, and we could talk so much more. So hopefully you'll come back and see us again. And
Thank you so much, Michelle. Really appreciate it. It was fun.
great.
I knew
Okay.
it would be. I knew it'd be fun with
I know.
you.
I was looking forward to it too. I know. So it was a pleasure, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us today. And people, you know where to contact Ruth. Her website has been up, and Ruth, you want to tell us one time what your website is? But I know it's been up on the screen.
Yeah, my website is ruthklein.com.
Okay.
And if you want to go to the information about the event, it's ruthklein.com/brand influencer. And that's what this is all about. It's about taking the essence of who you are and being an influencer with your message.
Okay. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for listening, and we love having you here at the Limit Free Life Show on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock at ubnradio.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love some feedback, and if I can support you in any way, please come to limitfreelife.com, and you can sign up for some free items and advice and tips and things that I have on my website, and hear about what's going on with Limit Free Life and my coaching programs, as well as other workshops and programs that I'll be doing. I'm going to wrap up at this point with a little more information about Limit Free Life. So have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for being here with us today. We so appreciate it. Bye-bye. See you next week. I think one of the most important messages I have to share with the world about the work that I do is that your work is yours to create. This is your piece of art that you can create in your life, and there's really nothing stopping you. Overall, most of us can learn what we need to learn and figure out what we need to figure out and create that fabulous career or business that we dream about. And there's really no reason to think that you can't. My name is Michelle Perkins, and I am the CEO and founder of a company called Limit Free Life. And I help men and women to make dramatic change in their lives so that they can have the fulfillment, fun, and financial prosperity that they have always wanted to find through their work. The main services I offer through Limit Free Life are one-on-one private coaching, group coaching, trainings and seminars, and business consulting. My signature service is one-on-one coaching over a period of time, 3 months, 6 months, even a year. It really allows a person to decide on an outcome that they desire, and then for us to work together to really achieve that outcome in full. The type of clients that I typically work with are professional men and women who are driven to do more, who might be entrepreneurs, but also career professionals who work in organizations, who are really looking to do more with their lives and very open to thinking in new ways about what they're doing, and who are willing to take responsibility, do the work, make some changes, and who don't say I can't a whole lot. Clients up-level in a number of ways. For some, they start a business after being in the corporate world. For others, they have an existing business and they really figure out the key and the formula to making that business grow and take off. For some, it's a matter of really developing courage. And for many, it's a matter of up-leveling their view of themselves, what they're capable of, how powerful they are, what their strengths are, and where they can go in life. What I see also is that there's a spark that kind of gets lit, and that flame keeps growing within them, and there are things that they want that maybe they were reluctant to even express that they wanted, and now they just go for it. They have bigger wants and bigger dreams than they had before, and the sense that they can achieve those things. I feel very strongly that money beliefs are foundational to developing a business that can scale and grow and become the business that you want it to be, whatever level of success that is. And for people who feel stuck or their business isn't going the way they want, a lot of times it comes back to some of the money beliefs. So as a certified money mindset coach, I have the training to help people understand where their hidden money beliefs are either interfering in their lives or businesses or coming into play in some fashion in all the decisions that they're making, both in their business and in their life. The overall mission behind my work is to help people love their work, to find satisfaction, fulfillment, fun, and also to be financially prosperous in what they're doing. That combination to me is a perfect recipe for making work a great part of your life. And so that's my vision, is for people to see work and money as allies in their life and things they can lean on so that they have something that makes them feel important and something that a place to go to develop a sense of identity and purpose and meaning in the world. My greatest hope for my clients is that they will develop a holistic relationship with work, money, and life, and there won't be this separation where they go to work and then they live their life after work, and they will develop work or businesses that they love, that they look forward to going to, and that give them the freedom and the income and the happiness that they're looking for in their life.
Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of hell. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at ubnradio.com.
And welcome to Limit Free Life. We are here at the Limit Free Life show with a fabulous guest today. I'm so excited about having Ruth Klein, brand specialist and influencer, on the show, and she is going to really enlighten us with some wonderful wisdom of hers. I'm going to give a full introduction to Ruth in just a minute, and for now, I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the show and listening today. And we are coming to you from the beautiful Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California. This is ubnradio.com. It's the Limit Free Life show. You can also find us streaming on Facebook, on my Facebook page, Limit Free Life. So we are here to help you create work you love, work that is fulfilling, fun, and financially prosperous. And to that end, we have people on our show who can help us to live a limit-free life and to transition our careers, to build our businesses, and to create a really fabulous relationship with money that will help you make fabulous decisions in your business and in your life. So I am Michelle Perkins, I'm your host, and I want to introduce you to my guest, who is just a delight. Her name is Ruth Klein. Ruth is an internationally known brand strategist, best-selling author of 6 books. She's a speaker and expert celebrity branding coach for leaders, CEOs, and entrepreneurs. She's appeared in the Oprah Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, all the major networks, CBS, ABC, NBC, CNBC, Fox, and dozens of other media outlets. Ruth works with experts, conscious leaders, and C-suite executives to help them become highly visible as thought leaders in their industry. She helps them create lucrative businesses and powerful personal brands by honing their message and communicating it through writing books, signature speeches, and purpose-driven brands. Ruth's clients add multi-6 and 7 figures to their business or company, host PBS specials, they're high 5-figure international speakers, they receive over 100 media pickups with one press release, become best-selling authors, and have even become a $100 million business brand. Ruth has raised funds or volunteered for nonprofits since the 3rd grade. She's good at it. She holds a master's degree in clinical psychology and spiritual psychology and has penned 6 books, many of which are best-selling, notably Time Management Secrets for Working Women, The De-Stress Diva's Guide to Life, Manage Your Time, Market Your Business, and The Everything Guide to Being a Sales Rep. Ruth has been a television and print spokesperson for AT&T, AOL Online, Food Saver, 3M, and many other top business brands. Her audiences call her witty, her clients call her wise, her friends call her wonderful, and her children call her for money. Please help me welcome the fabulous Ruth Klein. Ruth, hello. I'm so happy you're here. Ruth is zooming in from her beautiful home today, home office, and we are so happy to have you here, Ruth. It is a pleasure and an honor that you are here with us.
Well, I'm happy to be here as well, Michelle. This is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. We have a lot to talk about. So I would love to get started. Just you and I, we do know each other. You're one of those wonderful examples of how networking can lead to a wonderful relationship and even a friendship. And so I am really excited to have you share some of your wisdom with people around branding and being an influencer. And I would love for you to start from the beginning and tell everyone a little about your story and where you started and what you're doing today and how you got there. Kind of a tall order.
Wow.
I know, it's a big one. Sorry.
Well, I will tell you that I've always been interested in psychology. I've always been interested in how people do the things they do, why they do them, what's their motivation. And I never realized that I was so analytical, and I am. I remember I had a mentor, and he said, Ruth, you're so analytical. I said, no, I'm not, because I thought of myself as so creative, which I am. I didn't see the analytical piece. And in psychology, I can see how that's worked very, very well, because I like to analyze why people